Xbox 360 game prices are really starting to tear. They're really starting to go up. But I'm here to tell you that there are still good deals to be found, and you can still get in for cheap because they're only going to keep going up. I'm going to go through 69 Xbox 360 games for you. This is part 2 of my 6.9 Xbox 360 game price series. And today we're going through 10 more games. I'll have a link to the description of part 1 and all the other parts. As I create them, I will go back and I'll update these older videos, and I will link to all of them in the description until all 6.9 episodes are up and running. It's still very early days for the Xbox 360, believe it or not. We don't have $500 games yet. We don't have $1,000 games yet, but they are coming. They come with every console. The 360 is no different. It will happen. It's just a matter of time and which ones will get there first. And that's why we're starting off strong, because I'm giving you another strong contender. My previous video gave you a real good strong contender right out of the bat, right out of the gate. And we're doing that again. Big time strong contender right here. First up, we got Operation Darkness. This is an Atlas title. Xbox 360 exclusive and an Atlas title with OG classic Atlas treatment, which means really low print runs. Low print runs, Atlas, tactical RPG strategy, tactical strategy RPG, and a 360 exclusive. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure out that this price is going up, and it's going up a lot higher than it already is. I got this CIB maybe a year or so ago. Paid, I think, like 90 or $100. And I didn't even care about trying to find a deal. I just paid it because I know it's going to 200, 300, 500. It might be one of the first $500 to $1,000 contenders out there. It might be the first one to make it there. Only time will tell. So we know that really good rare RPGs hold their value and gain value really well. This has got that checked off. Atlas games hold their value, generally go up in old school Atlas games. They all had low print runs. They all go up in value. And they're typically hidden gems too. Typically. And it also happens to be a 360 exclusive. Let's pull up the chart. Here she is, boys. Here she is. So we've got recent sold listings going for complete 120. This one doesn't specify if it's complete or not. Complete 105, 120, all Canadian dollars. All Canadian. Okay. Price charting's got it averaging at 91, but as you can see, it takes a while to catch up to the true price because you ain't going to get this for 91. You're probably going to end up paying 100 plus easy. 105, 113, 100 plus. Complete with manual. Probably had like $50 shipping. Because that's the other thing, doesn't always show you the shipping. So this clearly bottomed out. The cheap days are over, but back in January or July of 2019, you could get this for $20. Nobody wanted this game. By the way, it got bad reviews. And I don't think that those reviews are going to stick. I think it's underrated. It's not a bad game. It can be a difficult game, and it can be very challenging, and the battles can be extremely long, but it's a very unique concept. So as we can see, this bottomed out at $20. It's peaked out around 100 plus, we'll say. It's currently a little bit down, but the trend is clearly up. And some lucky bastards got it around 20, just went on a tear ever since. That tear ain't going to stop. So 2019 to 2023, it's been on a tear. Well, 5 years from now, when we zoom out of this chart, this trend is going to continue. This is going to look like a straight line up when you add another 5 years to this chart. Add on 5 years, and as that chart starts to get bigger, those bigger moves condense into smaller portions of that larger chart, and it's just going to look like a straight line. It's going to look like a rocket ship to the frickin' moon. And so what is this game, by the way? This is a World War II, like, alternative universe And in this universe, the Nazis are zombies. Hitler's in this game. He's one of the main villains. And it's also a fantasy world mixed with World War II. So it's got weaponry from World War II. You're fighting with guns and things like that. And that's why I'm not a particularly huge fan of this game. Had this been a medieval game like Final Fantasy Tactics, all the other RPGs that are mostly predominantly fantasy based, this would have done much better. But it mixes fantasy with World War II and adds these fantasy elements like casting spells. There's magic in this game. Two of the characters can turn into werewolves. You've got vampires in this game. You got zombies, vampires, werewolves, magic spells. You've got guns. You got tanks. You got World War II weaponry. It's a really interesting mix. They really tried to do something really unique that nobody else has ever done before. So, is this going to 500? Yes, it is. You heard it from me. It's going to 500. All right, next up, one of my personal favorites, Dreamcast Collection. So I'm not trying to bring you just expensive games. I'm not trying to bring you just $100 games. I'm trying to find you some cheap games that are going to go up in value, so you might as well get them now where they're cheap. Dreamcast Collection. You're asking, why is this on here? Nobody cares about the Dreamcast. What's on here? It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 games. Sega Bass Fishing, Dreamcast. Sonic Adventure, Dreamcast. Space Channel 5 Part 2, Dreamcast. Crazy Taxi, Dreamcast. Xbox 360 exclusive. Why was it an exclusive? Well, to be honest, it's probably because Sega, maybe they were still pissed off at the PlayStation back in this era. They've always favored Xbox. They had a working relationship with Xbox on the Dreamcast. In fact, the Xbox, the Microsoft, helped build the Dreamcast. The operating system of the Dreamcast is based on a mini version of Windows. They did that on purpose so that it could be very easily programmed for by programmers, because the Sega Saturn, you had to be one of the top 100 programmers in the world to be able to even like program on that thing. They said only 1 in every 100 programmers could program properly for the Sega Saturn. And that helped lead to the demise of the Sega Saturn. So yeah, a lot of people don't know that Microsoft helped Sega build the Dreamcast. And unfortunately, Sega had no idea that they had an ulterior motive, which was actually to get their foot in the door and learn about the game industry. So that's why they helped Sega, by the way, because they knew that after doing that and learning about the industry and learning how to build these consoles, that they were going to go build their own console, which they did with the Xbox, OG Xbox. All right. So let's see what we're working here. Why is this on the chart? Well, probably it bottomed out around the same time. 2019, 2020, everything goes on a freaking rip-roaring tear. Probably around that COVID time. And it's about flatlined ever since. So we're looking at $33 complete. Recent sold listings going at anywhere from $30 to $40 complete. $35, and sometimes when it doesn't say complete, it's tough to tell. $40. Like, these are all recently sold listings. You got to pay taxes and shipping on top of that sometimes. So this is on the list. This is not going to $100. Actually, might go to 100, but it's not going to 500. Okay, it's not. Probably never going to go to 200. But what you don't understand is that some of these Dreamcast games are really expensive. Sonic Adventure is going for $75. There's recent sold listings like $75. These games aren't cheap anymore. Maybe Sega Bass Fishing is. I haven't even bothered looking. Crazy Taxi's even been creeping up for years. Space Channel 5, I didn't look, but it's probably way up too. Sonic Adventure. Like, these are good, solid games. This is a cheap alternative to playing the Dreamcast versions. Not everyone has a Dreamcast. Not very many people collect for a Dreamcast. Maybe, and not everyone wants to pay $75 to play Sonic Adventure. And not everyone wants to emulate this stuff. I hate emulation. I'm not going to play on a PC. I'm not going to do it. I'll never download some emulator crap, but I will play this version right here. I'm not going to go out and buy Sonic Adventure for $50, $75. I'm not going to do it. But I'll buy this and I'll play this for $30. That's what I'll do. And that's what I recommend you do. And as these Dreamcast titles continue to go up in price, this is going to continue to go up in price. That's what I'm telling you is going to happen right now. So if you're into those games, I mean, they're great games, and it's fairly dang cheap to pick this up today. I'd rather pay for this today than pay for it tomorrow when it's $65. I'd rather pay $35 right now than pay $65 tomorrow. All right, next up, we've got Driver San Francisco. This particular version is the Walmart exclusive. This bad boy's going up. Now, I'm not saying you have to get the Walmart exclusive. I'm just saying that it just so happens that this is one of the copies that I own. I didn't even realize that a Walmart exclusive existed until I picked this up to make this video, because I own 2 copies of this game. Might even be 3. And this is my most recent pickup version, which will be in a future video. So if you can get the Walmart exclusive one, this one's definitely going to be worth more money. It says it has an exclusive Chevrolet Camaro 2010 and bonus challenge. So honestly, I don't know how that works. If it was DLC or what the deal is. But quite interesting regardless. So Driver San Francisco is on here. I've talked about this many times before, because this is the best driver game ever made. I'm fairly certain it's still the last driver game ever made. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been rip-roaring higher. It's going to go much higher. It went under the radar. For how good the game is, it was very much under the radar. Got outshined probably your GTAs. GTA 4 and 5 probably just stole the frickin' spotlight. But they did a good job in this. Clearly you're driving around San Francisco. It's got a really good story. This isn't just meant to be played like driving around and having fun driving around San Francisco and swapping out cars and stuff. Sure, that's fun too, but it has a really freaking good story. This is not a joke. You're going to have a blast with this game. I can guarantee that. And this game is, the 360 version has been rip-roaring higher, even higher than the PS3 version. Usually it's the opposite. Usually PS3 version is always worth more. And somebody had wrote in a comment in one of my previous videos, he said that the reason for that is that the 360 version has better graphics. That's what he says. I've never been able to verify that, but apparently it looks better or plays better somehow. But I'm pretty sure he said it just looks better. So for some reason, the 360 version looks better. And that's why it's been going up. So here's the chart again. We bottomed around 2019. 2020 still cheap, under $20. Flatlining for almost the entire year. All of 2020 just flatlined. And now we're starting to move. Gone from 20 to 30. That's 50% increase. 20 to 30, bouncing around, hitting as high as 40s, bouncing around, slowly creeping up, getting higher. You're getting higher lows and higher highs. That's a typical stock thing. Lower or higher lows and higher highs is what you want to see as it starts bouncing up and down. You know, nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down. So this chart is very small. We're looking at about a 2-year gap here, but add 5 years to this chart and this 2-year gap isn't going to look so big anymore. It's going to be a small blimp on this chart. This is just going to be a small blimp. but you'll start to see that trend a little bigger as the chart expands and as the price continues to go up. So we've got it listed. It's got the average right now at $45, but as you can see, there's $60 recent sold postings, $60. Here's one for 40, might have been in poor condition. But we're creeping up to that $60 mark now. Look at this, $50, $55, $55, $45, $40, $48, $55, $56, $50, $57. How much longer until all of the $30 and $40 copies no longer exist? You're not going to be able to get it for that price. 60 is going to be the new low. 60 is going to be the new price. You're not going to be able to get it under 60. You're going to be wishing that you could pay 60. That's what you're going to be wishing. Oh, why didn't I buy it at 60? Well, now it's 80 because you didn't buy it at 60. You should have bought it at 20. So driver, is this going to be $500? No, I'm just telling you that it's going up in price. It's going up. And if you want to play a gem like this, now's the time to get it. These prices are cheap, guys. 360 it's in its infancy. We've barely scratched the surface of these games and these trends for the 360. All right, next up, another 360 exclusive. Tenchu Z, 360 exclusive. CIB, bitches. All my games are CIB. Is this 2-player? No. It was online, though. You could play 2 to 4 player co-op online, which is such a shame. A lot of these games have really good online capabilities, but they always shut down the servers. You can't play them forever. So Tenchu Z is not known to be the best game, but it is an exclusive. It is a good game, and it's in the Tenchu series. And I brought this up because a lot of the Tenchu games have been going up lately. They're starting to make a move. This is a series that previously no one ever thought any of them would ever go up because they were so cheap for so long, but they're starting to rip roar higher. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you something. Don't believe me? Let's pull this up. Here's a list of Tenchu games. Tenchu 2 is now $50. $50. And guess what? Not long ago, you could have got it for a lot cheaper. You could have paid $17.50, and look at this. It took years. It was in that $10 to $20 range for years. And now it's just rip roaring higher. $55 recent sold listing. Let's take a look at another one. PS2 Tenchu Fatal Shadows, again, just dead in that $15, $20 range forever. And then it just rip roars higher. Now you're paying $40, $50, $66. Why didn't you buy it at 15? Well, now you're paying 66. Have fun. Oh yeah, and look at this. The $40 version, small scratch untested. You think you're going to get this for 40? Probably not anymore. Not anymore. You're not going to get it for 40. You're going to be paying 50 plus, 60 plus, perhaps soon to be 100 plus. Here's one that I own that I bought for really cheap. Where did it go? This is a PS2 one. PS2. Not Fatal Shadows. Oh, Wrath of Heaven. Yeah. so this was so cheap. I paid like $10 for this years ago, probably around 2018. Right here, $10. And now it's selling 30 plus. Look at this. $40 sold listing, $40 sold listing, $40 sold listing, $40 sold listing, $35 sold listing. You get the picture. So Tenchu Z is still fairly cheap in the grand scheme of things. Bottomed out in 2019 again. Rip roaring higher ever since. This is only, 2-3 year chart we got going on here. But the trend is clearly up. And I think it's going to continue to go up. It's going to at least, it'll be $50 before you finish blinking. You can pay 50 or 60 later. I know it's going to 50 or 60. It's worth at least 50 right now, in my opinion. Will it go to 200? No, I don't think so. 100? Yeah, maybe. Maybe eventually. It'll be a long time before it goes to 100, I think. But yeah, this, I could absolutely see this going to 50, 60, 75 bucks. A lot faster than you'd think. Like I said, 360's only just gotten started. We're in such early days for the time when these consoles start making their move. They start making their first big move when the people that grew up on them, become older and start getting disposable income. And we're in that phase right now. And I know a guy, I buy 360 games from this guy. He's a young guy. He's like 23, 24. He's a young guy. He's a young buck compared to me. Okay, he could do laps around me any day of the week. And this guy is now at an age, he's got a full-time job. He's making decent money. In fact, he sells games full-time. He's making all right money as a full-time game seller. And what's he spending all of his money on? Xbox 360 games. He loves the 360. He grew up on that console and only that console. And he's gone super hardcore. He just spent $2,500 on filler. Just getting the filler games. Because like I said, he's going for a complete set. Just the filler like 2 weeks ago. 2.5K. All right, next up we got a nice little quick one here. Enslaved. This is a Namco game, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, which I believe is based on a book. I think they even wanted to turn this book into a movie, but they chose to do a video game instead. I don't remember the specifics. But regardless, this game got, it got alright reviews for the time, but it didn't sell well. It was actually a commercial failure. They wanted to make a sequel for this game. And by the way, the graphics, off the friggin' chart. Like 360 in its prime. Top of the line 360 graphics. The best the machine can possibly even make is in this game right here. Graphics are good. Excellent story. Excellent gameplay. Excellent controls. Total hidden gem. I don't know how many copies they sold, but this game's dirt cheap. You can get this game for like $10. Let's pull up the chart. Yeah, look at this. You can still find copies for about $10. Let's just round it down, say 10 to 15 bucks. Starting to creep up a little bit, nothing major though. Very slow and steady, but this is a game that you will want in your collection. It's a must own for any 360 collection, in my opinion. You will enjoy it, I can guarantee that. And it's dirt cheap. And it's got potential to go to $50 in the long run. It's a cinematic action game, we'll call it. So if you're interested, check it out today. Next up, we got Blitz the League. This is the OG. I've even got the OG receipt. What did the OG owner pay? Let's find out right now. Holy hell. This guy went to EB Games. Looks like he got it used. He paid $41.74. Camera doesn't want to pick that up. $41.74. Camera won't pick it up. See if we can find out what year he bought this in. Well, he bought it out of Quebec, Joliet, Quebec. And he also bought Army of Two for the 360 in the same day. Oh, here's what he paid. He paid $17.99 for Army of Two. And he paid $14.99 for Blitz, OG Blitz. Dang, man. And he bought the $2 guaranteed scratch resistant bullcrap. Buddy, you got ripped off. Don't ever pay $2 for that like crap that they offer. It's in French. I can't even tell what the guarantee, the $2 guarantee. If you like scratch your disc in 2 years, they'll replace it. Shut up. Get the hell out of here. If I ever find somebody paying $2 for that, I'm gonna have to like seriously do some physical harm to you in the parking lot to wake you up and just snap you out of it. You're living in a fantasy land. Your disc isn't going to scratch, you freaking moron. Quit. There's a reason why they pushed that so heavily. It was a license to print money. And usually it was parents that actually paid for it because they didn't know any better. So Blitz the League is going up because they stopped making these games. Blitz the League is the OG, and they've never remade this franchise. I don't know why. Blitz the League is an excellent franchise. It's arguably the best of all the Blitz games. In fact, it is the best of all the Blitz games. It's the most advanced. They added a freaking crap ton of new content. And it's been rip-roaring higher. Look at this. You used to be able to get this for $12. $12 freaking dollars. Why didn't any of you buy it for $12? I bought 2 copies. And she's really in the last 2 to 3 years, it's just basically been a straight line up. Recent sold listings approaching the $50 range. $45, $47. So I'm going to highly recommend this one. And don't get the PS2 version. I think this is on PS2 as well. I'm imagining it must be on the PS3 as well. But only get the PS3 or the 360 version if you are going to get it. Which leads us to our next game. This should be an obvious one. Should be obvious. Blitz 2, The League. Featuring football legend Lawrence Taylor. This is my 4th or 5th copy. I can't remember. Oh, also has an OG receipt. Let's see what this guy paid for it. He bought this in Niagara Street, Welland, Ontario. Oh, dang, he got a good deal. $17 from Entertainment Overload, a store. Yeah, used price in 2010. Wow. Well, it's worth a lot more than $17 now, buddy. You should have never sold it. Once again, they stopped making this series. And this is the best one in the series, and it's the best Blitz game ever made, which means it's quite possibly the best football game ever made. There's no such thing as a game better than Blitz for a football game. Any of the Blitz games. Blitz is arcade football at its best. And look at this chart. $20 you could have paid for this not that long ago. $25 before the 2020 rip, roar, tear higher. We're in a straight line up. This is when you zoom out, this is going to be a straight line up. Nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down. But when this zooms out 5 years from now, it's just going to look like a rocket ship headed to the moon at full speed. So we've got the complete average price right now, $89. But as you can see, recent sold listings are going for $100 plus. 85, 87, 68, 102, 108, 108, 80, 80, 90, 128, 108, 101, 120, 121, and look at all these are recent sold listings in the last 2 months. This thing sells all the time. Very easy sell, popular sale, 100 plus, any day of the week, going to 200 plus. So get your copy today if you're interested. I own 4 or 5 copies for a reason. People think I'm insane because I've been buying 4 and 5 copies of these games. Hey, why do you own 10 copies of this game that you pay $20 each for? Well, I did that because it's going to 100. And I have to, I can't just have 1 copy because I'm going to keep 1 copy forever until I die. I will be buried with my games. which means I have to, by default, I have to own at least 2 of everything. Because one of the copies I need to be able to sell. And by the way, I do have a diversified portfolio. I don't just invest in retro games. I also have gold, commodities, gold, silver, oil, uranium, copper. I invest in a lot of different things. I've got some dividend payers. I'm all over the board. You guys thought I was playing around when I said I own 5 copies. Blitz the League number 2. I've been buying her since she was cheap. And you know what? I think she's still cheap today because she's going much higher. I like to buy my copies cheap before they go up. All right, next up we got one of my personal favorites, yet again, Automedius or Medius. Excellent. Inspired by the legendary Gradius series. Konami shooter, guys. Konami doing it big time. One of the best shooters ever made. Konami, before they went down, before they started making garbage. Before they started getting into the slot machine business and abandoning their video game business. This was Konami while they were still actually putting effort into their games. This is a 3-player shooter, which is very rare. 3 players, not even 4. It's straight up 3. And it's anime style, obviously. It got bad reviews. Don't ask me why. I don't know. And I think that's why it got ignored by the market, I think. I remember seeing this in Walmart. Probably it was in the clearance bin. Nobody wanted it. I think it's a hidden gem. Total hidden gem. And as more and more people realize what this is, and by the way, it's a 360 exclusive. There is a special edition as well. Very expensive for the special edition. And I will mention as a side note, there is fan service in this game. So if you don't like fan service, why are you even playing anime style games? Anime and fan service go together like chocolate milk and Oreo cookies. Okay? I like fan service. You know, not too. You know, okay. There's a limit to the fan service because I'm not into the, you know, the games that we wouldn't even classify as fan service games. The type of games that you can get banned for just for playing on YouTube. I'm not into those types of games. But fan service, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of fan service here and there. Go play Dead or Alive PS1. Fan service helped make that game even better than it was. In fact, to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't even be interested in DOA if it weren't for the fan service. Right here, this is the definition of a beautiful chart. You're never going to find a chart more beautiful. You find a technician, if any of you know some technical analysis guys out there, find a technician, call up your friend, whoever your technician friend is, and tell him to look at this chart and say, hey, what do you think? He'll have a tear go down his eye. Look at this. It's just straight line up for years, ever since 2017. Straight up. It's never stopped. Slow and steady. For now, that's why I'm saying it's cheap. That's why I'm saying buy it today, because it's going to go to 100 tomorrow. But that is a beautiful chart, which should give you confidence in knowing that this chart is going to continue at the very least at the same trend it's been going for years. So you can buy it today for 20, or you can buy it tomorrow for 35. Which one would you rather pay? For one of the best shooters ever made? Sign me up, please. That's also why I happen to own 3 or 4 copies. One of them is sealed, but it has a tear in the seal. All right, so I had to go and grab my final 2 games. Here we are. Again, one of my personal favorites, Blur for the Xbox 360. This is the very rare bonus DLC version. It comes with a chrome BMW. I've found this by pure fluke. I don't know how many versions there are out there of this game, or if this was a Walmart exclusive, or what the deal is. But it does come with a code where you can unlock the car. So this is definitely one of the rarer versions. Blur is a hidden gem racing game. It is starting to gain popularity and people are starting to become aware of it. It's basically what happens when you mix Need for Speed and Mario Kart. You mix them together, you get Blur. Okay, so it's real cars. It's Need for Speed, great graphics, but you've got power-ups like Mario Kart. So it's very unique. Chart isn't doing too much. But the fact that this has commanded a high price for a very long time, used to be sitting around 20, it's sitting around 30 today. Okay, 27, 33, $40, $47 listing. Very clean disc, dang. So it's creeping up to that $40 level as we speak. $62 sold posting. Dang. Yeah, so it's starting to creep up. This will eventually go to, the floor will eventually be $50, $60, $75. And for this game, this old to command that high price, back when nobody was collecting for this console, this game was selling for $20. That generally tells you there, A, wasn't a lot of games out there, or two, the people that have them aren't selling them. Or a combination of the two. I'm just telling you, it's a hidden gem and it's cheap. If you're interested in this type of game, definitely pick it up today. Why not pick it up for $30 today? Because if you don't, you're going to pay $60 tomorrow. It's that simple. Is it going to 500? No. Is it going to 100? I don't know. Maybe. But don't buy it with the intent that only if it's going to go to 100. All you need to know is that if you're interested in this game and this game sounds fun to you, and or you're a collector and you just want to own it, pick it up today because it's going to go up in price. That's all I'm saying. And lastly, I saved one of the best for last. Ninja frickin' Blade. Xbox 360 exclusive. Future $200 game. I'm calling it right now. This is a 5 out of 5 game, 10 out of 10 game, 20 out of 20, 100 out of 100. Cinematic action game similar to Ninja Gaiden, but 100 times better than Ninja Gaiden. You can cast ninjutsu spells like Ninja Gaiden. Like I said, basically it's Ninja Gaiden, but 100 times better. And it's also cinematic, very cinematic, very high emphasis on the story. Okay, this is going to give you great action gameplay, 10 out of 10 gameplay, with a 10 out of 10 story to go with it. That's all there is to say about this. I don't know, what the deal is, why. This is a hidden gem. I don't know why this isn't more well known. There's been nothing wrong with the game since its release. Maybe just because it didn't have the Ninja Gaiden name attached to it, that it never really took off as a franchise. This should have destroyed Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden should have gone out of business because of this game. Now let's pull up the chart. Even the chart is mind-blowing. The game is mind-blowing and the chart is mind-blowing. What's this chart done? It's done nothing but go straight up. You used to be able to get it for $7. $10. It sat around that $10, $20 mark for a very long time. And now it's rip-roaring higher. We got recent sold listings going as high as $40 Canadian. Oh, look at this, $55 Canadian. $47 Canadian. Yeah, you can still get it for cheap, $25 recent sold listing, but it's starting to creep up there. People are willing to pay $55 when all the other copies are sold out. They'll easily pay $55. Or maybe this was a better condition. Maybe that $25 one wasn't in very good condition. This chart, this is a beautiful chart. It almost brings a tear to my eye. $10 in 2020. Now it's creeping up to 40. This is the kind of chart you want to see, and this is the kind of game that you want to own. Xbox 360 exclusive. PS3 doesn't have this game. PS3 owners wish they could own this game. They wish that they had this game, but they don't. And you know what? They're going to have to buy a 360 to get this game. And they get my 2 copies. I got 2 copies. I wish I had 3. And I ain't selling any of them. So there you have it, guys. There's 10 games for you. I'm doing a 6.9 episode series. I also play retro games. I talk about a lot of other retro games. I do video game pickups all the times. I do hidden gem videos. I do everything under the sun as long as it's related to the Nintendo Switch or retro games in general. So please consider subscribing to the channel and leave a comment below and let me know if you enjoyed this video. I'm trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers on my way to also collecting over 9,000 video games because basically I'm legally insane and the cops are out looking for me.